Namaste friends, and welcome back to The Way Om. My name is Sarah and I'm going to be your instructor for this class. So today I'm just going to show you my go-to flow. So something that I do at home in my own personal practice when I know I need to move but I don't want to be too technical or too rigid about what I'm doing. Definitely don't want to overthink what I'm doing. Some of you also kind of may notice, I don't think I've mentioned this in previous videos, but I do have a background in dance, and so that's something that has definitely influenced my practice. So there's a lot of rhythmic quality to the way I move in this pose, or through in and out of my poses rather. So if you have like a go-to playlist at home that you'd like to listen to while you practice along with me, you are welcome to do that as well. And yeah, just kind of find what works for you. So again, I don't want you to work too hard in this. I don't want you to be too technical or too rigid. Obviously, I'm going to throw out some, sequencing cues and some techniques you can do. But overall, I just want you to move around in your body and have fun and really tune inward in this class, okay? So I'm just going to show you my go-to flow. So from here, I'm going to start off in downward facing dog actually to start. I don't always start off with sun salutations. Sometimes I got to get right into it, and this is all the time I have, okay? So we're going to start off in down dog, so feel free just to pedal out the feet a little bit. If you need to shorten your stance, go ahead and do that. I often just like to move around, maybe take my hips side to side. Sometimes I really like to exaggerate my movement here in my downward facing dog. Really getting into those intercostal spaces here as I'm moving about in down dog, but just nice and easy. Just kind of move at your own leisure. Do what makes sense for you. If you need to pedal out the feet, go ahead and do that as well. And like I said, we're just gonna get right into it, friends. So from here, on your next inhalation, go ahead and bring that right leg up and back to start. Exhale, we're gonna bend the right knee. We're gonna step it through between the hands, setting up for a lunging salutation. Now, I forgot to mention before, if you do need a set of props, the only props that you'll need for this class that may come in handy is a set of blocks here, especially when we're doing our lunging salutations, okay? So if that's you, you could be set up on some blocks, maybe keep the fingertips on the floor. But if you're ready, let's go ahead and we'll bring those fingertips up towards the ceiling here. So stretching through the front of the thigh, the hip flexor, just getting right into it. Good, we'll stay for an inhale and exhale. Beautiful. On your next inhalation, let's go ahead and bring the fingertips back down. Now you can do this motion also with your blocks as well. I'm gonna come into a half split from here, so half Hanumanasana. So I'm gonna extend through my legs, so my heel is just here balancing on the mat, and I'm bringing my hips back towards the back wall, getting a nice sensation here in the back of the legs and the hamstring. Now, if you need to, you can always just have a micro bend in that knee, no need to lock it out. And then from here, I like to move dynamically in and out of this pose. So on my next inhale, I'm gonna come forward. Exhale, I'm gonna sink it back, and just inviting that rhythmic quality into your practice, making it feel good. And again, if I have just a really good playlist on, I find that that just helps me really tune inward into my body. If you want to close your eyes too, you're more than welcome to do that as well. So again, I'm just moving in and out of half split, nothing too strenuous here. Good. Now from here, on my next inhalation, you may need to set one block off to the side here. I'm gonna just bring this stretch out and over laterally towards the right wall. So I'm bringing my left arm up, and if you have it in your practice, you can balance on the right fingertips, or if you have that block, go ahead and grab that. Make this pose a little bit easier for you, more accessible. Good. And then on your next inhalation, I'm just gonna bring this block up towards my left hand as I reach and stretch over towards the left wall this time. Oh man, this feels so good in my hip flexors. And then we're just gonna move dynamically in and out. So if you need to bring that block along with you, you can grab it. Just trade hands if you need to. Again, just finding that kind of nice flow, rhythmic quality to your breath, to your motions here. Alrighty, friends. Let's come back. We're gonna step the right foot back here into our plank posture. If you like, you can take the vinyasa or you can simply skip it. Meet us back in down dog or child's pose. Good, pressing up through hands and knees if you need to. And then we're gonna get that all on the left side this time, okay? So on your next inhalation, left foot comes up and back. Exhale, we'll step it through between the hands. This time setting up into the lunge. So again, grabbing the props if you need them. You know what to do this time. I'm gonna go ahead and bring my arms up on my next inhalation and just start to stretch through the front side of the body, through that hip flexor as I come into my lunge. Beautiful. Once again, we're gonna get into that hamstring stretch. So half Hanuman. If you need to grab the blocks, go ahead and grab them, but we're gonna go ahead and just shift our weight back towards the back wall. This time the left foot is flexed, heel is still on the ground. We're gonna come forward on an inhale, and then exhale. Start to draw your weight back. Inhale, come forward. Exhale, bring it back. Good, nice and easy. Finding your own unique rhythm here. Good. Once again, coming back into the lunge. So we're gonna take this out and over into some side stretching. So on your next inhalation, we're gonna start with that right arm coming up. Left fingertips come down with or without the blocks. Good. And then exhale, let's switch it out. Inhale. And exhale. Inhale. And exhale. Just nice and easy here, nothing super complicated. All right, once again, let's step back into plank pose. You're welcome to take downward facing dog. You're welcome to take child's pose, or if you want to get that vinyasa, once again, we're gonna lower down, come up through cobra pose, coming back into downward facing, finding any amount of movement here before we move on, coming back to your breath. So we're gonna add on here a little bit, and you know what I'm gonna do, friends? I'm gonna bring my yoga mat just a little bit closer to the camera so I have enough room here for our next set of postures we're gonna get into. Okay. And again, if you need those blocks, go ahead and grab those too, okay? All right, but from here, on your next inhalation, let's go ahead and bring that right leg up and back. Inhale, let's go ahead and draw the right knee in towards your chest, so right down the middle here. And then on a next inhalation, we'll bring that right foot up and back. Exhale, right knee, right tricep. Inhale, bring it back up. Exhale, right knee, right tricep. Inhale, bring it back up. So a little bit of core movement here. On your next inhalation, I want you to go ahead and bend the right knee and allow that right foot to dangle over towards the opposite wall. So in this case, the left wall here. Good. And then from here, if you have it, stay here, yogis. If this is enough for you, if this is enough sensation, stay here for just a moment. But if you'd like to flip over and come into Wild Thing, I'm gonna step the ball of the right foot down on the mat. I'm gonna start to rotate my chest up towards the ceiling. And then sometimes I like to bring my hips down just a bit for some leverage. And then I'm gonna come up by pressing down into the feet, pressing down into my left hand for Wild Thing pose. One of my favorite poses. Good. On your next inhalation, let's find ourselves back in plank, so nice and slow and controlled. So if you were taking this, let's just meet up in plank. Good. And then from here, let's go ahead and bring that right leg up and back once again. We'll meet one more time in the lunging sun salutation. Good. From here in our lunge, let's go ahead and bring those arms up towards the ceiling. Exhale. And then once again, we'll move in and out of half split here, half Hanuman. Getting into the backs of the legs. And you may notice, friends, like kind of a pattern here. So I mentioned in previous videos, I am a registered nurse, so I am on my feet for long stretches of time, and I find that yoga poses that get into my very tight hamstrings and hip flexors and what have you, it just, yeah, it's kind of like often what I'm falling back on often in my practice, especially when I'm doing a home practice. Alrighty, and then once again from here, let's take this stretch up and over, coming over towards the right wall. Good. And again, just finding your own unique rhythm. If you want to just kind of exaggerate the motion a little bit, make it flow like water. Let's go ahead and meet here in plank pose. And again, an option to skip that vinyasa if you'd like to. I do have a video that breaks down how to do the vinyasa. So if you go to my Sun Salutation A video, I do break down in greater detail how to complete the vinyasa. And you know, I might even add a link to that in the description for you guys. So you can follow that if you just need a little bit more instruction on that. Okay, so from here, let's go ahead and get the left side this time. So left leg will come up and back as you inhale. Exhale, we're gonna bring that left knee right down the center here. And then inhale, we'll bring it back up. This is called one-legged dog, by the way. Exhale, let's cross it over. Left knee, right tricep. Inhale, bring it back up. Exhale, left knee, left tricep. Inhale, bring it back up. This time as you exhale, let's go ahead and come into our down dog with a twist here. And again, yogi's choice. Option one, it's just to stay as you are. If you want to rotate out that ankle or maybe take that knee just in some small circles, you are welcome to. Or otherwise, let's go ahead and flip our dog here. Coming into Wild Thing, and again, taking your time, moving at your own leisure, really feeling what's going on inside, what's going on in your body right now. How can you make this feel good? Beautiful. Once again, we'll meet in plank pose. And then option from here, actually, you know what? We're gonna come into the lunge next. Never mind. I was gonna have you guys a vinyasa on your next inhalation. Left leg will come up and back. Exhale, let's step it through between the hands. And then once again, yogi's choice. If you want to stay up on fingertips, you can, but if you're ready, we're gonna root to rise up here. Beautiful. Next inhale. Let's go ahead and move dynamically in and out of half split. Good. Utilizing your breath. Closing your eyes if that makes sense. Alright, and then let's go ahead and come into those side stretches here. So this time, right arm comes up and over towards the left wall. Left arm comes up and over. Friends, let's come back into plank pose. Option to take the vinyasa or skip it. You can take upward facing dog or cobra this time if you'd like. All right, we're just gonna get into a couple standing postures and then, yeah, a little brief stretch. So we're almost done here, friends. On your next inhale, right leg comes up and back. Exhale, let's step that right foot through between the hands. This time we're gonna come up through crescent lunge. So that left heel, back heel, is off the mat here. Good. Once again, just getting into that front hip flexor, my go-to. All right, we'll stay here, friends, for another inhale and exhale. And then on your next inhalation, go ahead and place that back heel down. So we're gonna come into warrior one here. So both hips are facing forward, coming into the stretch. Good. On your next inhalation, go ahead and straighten the right leg. So we're coming up on pyramid pose here. So we're gonna hinge from the waist, and if you need to, let me grab my blocks so I can show you. You can utilize these blocks for support too, so by placing them on either side of that foot. You may need to walk the feet in just a touch, just depending on how warm you are, how tight the hamstrings are, okay friends? So from here, I'm gonna straighten through my front leg, and then I'm gonna start to hinge from my waist, drawing the hips back in space, coming into this pose. And again, what's lovely about the blocks is that you could play with the different heights, the various shapes of the posture. And again, we're not here long, friends. And if it's helpful, I highly suggest having just a slight bend, a micro bend in that front leg and the right leg. No need to lock out here. All right. From here, we're gonna transition into a pose that I love. It's called half moon. So from here, I'm gonna start to bend my front knee. I'm gonna start to slowly shift my weight forward. And again, this is an excellent one if you have a block here handy. I'm gonna find a focal point on the floor for balance. I'm gonna start to bring my weight into my right hand and in that right leg. I'm gonna start to pick up my my left foot in this case. Start to come into half moon. Notice that my left foot is flexed and active. You could point the foot too. I find just for balance, flexing my foot helps me in this one. And if you want to be fancy, you can go ahead and grab that back foot. Again, not a requirement, just a nice way to get into the shoulders, upper body. And this does throw balance off too. Good. Let's go ahead and nice and slowly, I'm going to start to bend through my right leg. And just very gently step back. Yeah, let's just come back into warrior two. I'm gonna windmill with my hands down, taking that vinyasa. All right, friends, we just got one more side to get into. So on your next inhalation, the left leg will come up and back this time. Exhale, we'll step it through between the hands, coming up for crescent lunge. So the back heel is off the mat, so the right heel is off the mat this time. Come back to your breath. Beautiful. And I'll turn this way just so you can see me better in this pose. But once again, from our crescent lunge, go ahead and set your back heel down. We're gonna come into warrior one pose. Holding here. And then once again, coming into pyramid pose, we're gonna straighten through that front leg with or without the blocks. We're gonna start to hinge forward from the waist. Good. You might notice that one side might be a little bit more restricted than the other, and that's okay. My left side is usually my tighter side, so I'm not gonna go as far in this one. I'm gonna allow my breath to slow me down a little bit here. Once again, preparing for half moon pose, you'll need to walk in your back foot a little bit here, setting your block out in front of you. And you could do this with or without the block. It's really up to you, friends. But from here, I'm gonna start to lean my weight forward. Notice I'm bending through my left knee here. I'm starting to shift my weight, I'll do this, over into my left hand as I open up for warrior, I'm not warrior one, a half moon pose here. Good. And if you liked that one variation where you're reaching back for the back foot, and it's almost like you're kicking the foot into the hand. You're definitely gonna feel this in the shoulders. But again, that's just an option. Okay, once again, nice and slow and controlled, bending through the left knee. We'll step back into warrior one. Feel free to take that vinyasa, or you'll just meet us back in downward facing dog or child's pose, okay? I'm gonna get one more vinyasa. Good, and then from there, I'm gonna come back into child's just for a moment. Come back to your breath. Okay, friends, so I know we are a little bit, short on time here. So I'm just gonna show you one stretch that I like to come into. So this is called pigeon pose, and I'll show you how to approach this in two ways, okay? So the first way, you can start off in downward facing dog, bringing the right leg up and back. And then you're gonna draw that right knee, kind of like how we did in that one core activation that we did, just up against or in the direction of your right hand here. And notice I'm kind of squaring off my hips here in this posture. And I could even face this way so you can see me a little bit better. So from here, and again, if this is like, if you find that your sitting bones are not quite making contact with the mat, you can grab a yoga block and be supported on that. You can grab a folded blanket. Highly recommend that. If that knee is like bothering you in any way, I'm gonna show you another variation that you can take. So that's option one. Option two, another really fun, unique way to approach this is from your back. So you can cross the right ankle over the left thigh and then draw those knees in towards your chest. You're still getting that same shape, that same nice release for the hips and for the legs. Again, without putting too much stress on that knee, okay? You could take this also with the leg extended, all right, friends? You can even take the interlace onto the top of the left shin. You'll definitely feel this a little bit more. Good. And again, just for the sake of time, you can stay in this longer if you need to, but I'm gonna go ahead and show you. So on the left side, this is what it would look like. So left ankle on top of right thigh, hugging those knees in towards your chest. Again, you could play with the shape of this pose. And then I'll show you the other way to get into pigeon. From downward facing dog, the left leg will come up and back. And then we'll bring that left knee up towards the left hand, just kind of like just behind the left wrist here. And again, utilizing your props if you need to sit on a yoga block or on a blanket for support, or if you need to pad up that knee. Again, feel free to get creative with what you have available to you. But friends, I'm gonna let you stay here and stretch if you need to, if you need to get a seated meditation, if you need to take Shavasana, whatever suits you right now, whatever you have time for. But thank you again for practicing with me. I hope this was a benefit to you. Like I said, just find your favorite playlist and yeah, go to town, create your own unique flow, just something that makes sense for you, okay? But until next time, namaste.